made up of a few teachers, different grade levels. This year it's also our speech teacher and our occupational therapist is on there as well. Miss Mack, our principal, is on there. And some different grade level teachers are the person who's in charge of our YMCA before and after school program is also on there. So it's a good variety of staff, which is really nice because we're able to kind of, everyone can help out in different ways. But it definitely has changed. It's every year it's a little different. In kindergarten, we do open circle twice a week. The time length differs depending on time of year and the lessons, and where the lessons are becoming a little bit more complex now, and our attention span is getting a little longer. So it's, in the beginning of the year, it was more like 10 to 15 minutes per time, and now it's, can anywhere be, 20 minutes to a half hour. We basically have just gone through, the lessons, in order pretty much. But the past month or so, we've been working a lot on the problem solving steps using the stoplight, and I find that is one of the most effective parts of Open Circle, but it's also one of the hardest things to really get the kindergartners at that young of an age to take kind of ownership over. It's some pretty complex concepts, and so we really kind of break that down, even more so, I think, than the curriculum calls for, just to really get them to understand each step of what it means to, talk about their problems and say how their problems make them feel, and just that difference between, what's the difference between a problem that is a double D, something I need to tell the teacher about, and something that is just annoying. And those are the types of problems they can try to solve on their own, which is pretty complex for 5 and 6 year olds. They think that every problem is pretty huge. But they are definitely, with teacher support, they get that. Often I find myself saying a lot, "Is that a double D? Oh no!" And then they know exactly what to do, but they just kind of, at that young of an age, they still need that reminder. But and I find a lot of them, when I talk to parents, a lot of parents come in and ask questions. "Oh, do you guys talk about annoying things?" Or they'll say it like that, because the kids are using the language at home. They're saying, their little brother or sister did something that was annoying, or a double D. And so I definitely think that the language transfers, and the kids the parents do become kind of more aware of it too. A couple different ways. One, I send home the home link letters. Another thing is, in my weekly newsletter, there's a section for Open Circle, so I always put what we're talking about during our lessons for the week in the newsletter. Another way is I kind of get the kids to be a part of it. I talk about if they have older brothers or sisters in the school, they're learning the same thing and they're learning the same language and all of that. And as kindergartners, they think like, "Oh, that's really cool. I'm learning the same thing as my 4th or 5th grade brother or sister." And so then I say, well, then you can try to use these things at home. And so I think then, parents will become, "Oh, I see my kids are using these terms. What are these things?" So they, and the kids kind of translate it to home too. Well, even though it was a long time ago, I definitely remember the training. I went, I think it was 2 days in the summer before, and it was really nice because there was the other kindergarten teacher was coming in at the same time as me, and so it was like in August, and we both went together. So I got to know her a little bit too, which was a nice kind of start to working together. But it was 2 days kind of, before school started, which was nice because it was like I wasn't so overwhelmed with the beginning of the year stuff and everything. But I think the most helpful thing was then the visits throughout the year. I think that was a huge part. Because it's in your beginning of teaching, it's easy to get off track and lose sight of things, and it was nice to have that Open Circle mentor coming in and saying, not in a non-evaluative way, saying, "How's it going? What can we do? What can we do to support you? What's working? What's not working? Let's talk through it." And I think that's what was kind of nice with the Open Circle thing, and the same thing with me kind of helping the newer teachers now, is that it's not in an evaluative process at all. It's, we're here to support you, and what can we do to help you. And I think the other thing that's helpful too is kind of, as a new teacher, when you don't have the full scope of the program, is kind of working with people who are familiar with the Open Circle curriculum and saying, okay, these are some real crucial lessons. So if you might not get to everything, but these are some really crucial things that will really help you. And I think that teachers that I've talked to, once they do kind of see the full year of it, they really see how it makes their lives so much easier. By doing these lessons, even though it seems like, oh, it's one more thing to fit in, it's the benefits. They really see the benefits, after a whole year of doing it.